The New Year's resolutions that you made last night while you were holding that glass of champagne, remember it? Well, lots of people have them. Very few actually achieve their goals. Let's find out why this actually happens. I'm joined by Refilwe Marathe, who is a life coach. Refilwe, good morning to you. Looking rather sprightly for 2015. A happy New Year to you. All the best for the year.
Good morning, Gareth.
So what is your New Year's resolution, and how do you, as Refilwe, a life coach, make sure you stick to it?
My New Year's resolution is it's a very simple one. You know, it really is about growing and developing myself. It's self-development. Okay, that's what I've decided that I want to do for this year. And how I'm going to do that is by consistently doing what I haven't been doing, because the reason I'm setting that resolution is because I realize that there's a gap here. I need to be doing something differently. So all I need to do is do it and do it and do it. That's all I'm doing.
But that's a realistic life goal to achieve, your New Year's resolution. Where do people go wrong? Do they come up with something as a New Year's resolution that might just be too out of reach for them, do you think? I mentioned the champagne in my intro to you. I mean, that's not a good enough excuse. But how does someone choose a resolution that is actually worthwhile following and actually see themselves getting to the end of it?
Okay, 2 or 3 things, Gareth. The first one is, as you set that resolution, identify your readiness for the change. Are you really ready to make that change, and can you commit to it? Okay, so for example, you decide this year I want to save 500 Rand more. Are you ready for the change in lifestyle? Are you ready to make the sacrifice? Or is it something that you're just saying because it's a good thing to say? You know, and if you're not ready for the change, don't make the resolution. That's the first thing. Secondly, as well, you've got to own that resolution. It's got to be your decision. It shouldn't be imposed on you. It shouldn't be because your partner, your mother, your boss said you must do it, and therefore you have to do it. You should want to do it. You should have seen the benefit of what's in it for you to do that.
Well, I'm so glad you said that I shouldn't be put under pressure, because my team believes I drink way too much coffee. So while you're watching and you're tweeting me about my coffee addiction, how, for example, should it only be done on New Year's? I'm going to drink my coffee while you answer. Why only on New Year's? Is it just because of the change of times, or can anybody who hasn't chosen one now, can they do it at any stage throughout the year? Or does it have to be today? Or do you think people will fail if they don't do it?
I think that it doesn't only have to be today. I think the reason people do it at the beginning of the year, the reason is a good reason, because it's a new year, new beginning. So your mind space, it's in a new space, and you're kind of thinking, I've left behind the past, moving into a new space. So in terms of that, mentally, you have more clarity, and you're consciously making the resolution. But it shouldn't just be at the beginning of the year. It should be something that we do all the time, continuously. And we should be setting goals throughout the year. It should become a habit, and not to set a goal, forget about it, and set another one at the beginning of the following year. So we should set goals, but we should do it consciously all the time, and not just consciously at the beginning of the year. And that is also another reason why sometimes they don't stick, because you do it now maybe because there's a pressure, it's the thing to do. People come to you and say, what's your New Year's resolutions? The way that you asked me, and then I have to come up with something. Sure. You know, or
I believed yours, by the way. It's perfectly believable. I believed your New Year's resolution.
Well, it is. It is the truth. But sometimes we even put ourselves under pressure to come up with a resolution. And what then happens is that it's just something you talk about. A week later, you've forgotten about it, because it wasn't really something that you had prepared for. So that's also another reason why the resolutions do fall off.
What's the most common problem that people have with New Year's resolutions? As you answer that, what is the one thing that people generally come to you for, that is the most common thing they want to change in their lives? Somebody might be sitting at home now going, yeah, I don't have a New Year's resolution, but actually I should have one. What's a good one for people to chase after? Something that might be attainable for the average person?
You know, one that I'm finding right now, a lot of people are it's nagging them. It's very much about, I've been in this space, whatever that space is. I've been in this space for so long. I really now need to change. I really now need to grow. I need something different. I can see that. The problem is, how do I change? I have the fear, I don't know what's going to happen, and therefore maybe let me just stick to my comfort zone. So that is a real problem that a lot of people do face in terms of being able to move on and to achieve a goal. So you're sitting here and recognizing that I'm not quite happy with the status quo. This is what I want, but there's this big fear of how to get there, and if you'll be able to get there, but you know this is more comfortable, so you then
and what's
slip,
that first step,
slip,
briefly?
slip
What's that
back.
first thing that you tell someone to do? Just the one step that you can give me. What's the one thing you do to change what you just said?
Okay. The first thing that you do is to believe that you can do it. That is the first thing. If you set a goal and it intimidates you and it scares you and it gives you doubts, don't go for that goal. Believe it. You've got to be able to see yourself in that goal. You've got to be able to say, that's me. I can do it. Once you believe that, then what happens is you don't find excuses when you face challenges, because the next thing you'll be rationalizing. So suppose a resolution is, I want to open a business this year, okay? But then at the same time you're thinking, you're having doubts and thinking, but I'm not an entrepreneur. Or you're thinking, where I come from, we don't do business. Already putting that doubt in that
Make
space.
sure you can see it is the point.
Make sure you can see it, make sure you believe it, and make sure that you can actually be part of what you want to see.
Some wonderful New Year's resolution advice. Refilwe, thank you very much indeed. Refilwe Marathe, a life coach, telling you, in fact, and me, how we can get onto those New Year's resolutions, find one and stick to one. Imagine yourself doing it is the big message from him. My thanks to Refilwe.